Roguelikes aren't supposed to have great stories. Think about it. You're expected to die over and over again, replay the same content, and somehow still care about the plot? Most games don't even bother trying, but every now and then, one comes along that figures it out. Most roguelikes tell stories kinda like a casino. They hand you just enough information to justify another run, then get out of the way. They're about the stories that happen to you, not the one that the developers wrote. But sometimes, a game decides to do something much harder. It asks whether a genre built around repeating the same journey over and over again can actually tell a compelling authored narrative. And somehow, against all odds, Crying Suns pulls it off. Developed by Alt-Shift and released in 2019, Crying Suns is a tactical space exploration roguelike with a heavy emphasis on narrative and tactical space battles. You ever wonder what would happen if a galaxy-spanning empire collapsed and fell to shit? Well, look no further. While it definitely takes inspiration from games that came before it, like FTL, the devs wanted to make the scale of this game much grander, as if you were commanding several hundred crew members from the pilot's deck. And with that, coupled with the galaxy-spanning story that you'll be fighting your way through, there's a lot to unpack here. So let's get into it. Real quick, this is the second video in a series I'm doing on space exploration roguelikes, the first one being FTL Faster Than Light. While this will be a standalone video, you should still check that one out after this. In Crying Suns, you play as this tall drink of water, Admiral Ellis Idaho, as he seeks to restore the galactic empire to its former glory. See, a few decades ago, all of the machines that human society relied upon to do basically everything that glorified slaves didn't already do, shut down. These machines were so advanced that humans didn't even create them, let alone build them. Red flag number one. And with the godbots no longer functioning, it didn't take long for society to completely implode. Ignore the parallels to real-world concerns. This is a video game and we're not here to have an existential crisis today. So why is Admiral Idaho finally getting off his lazy ass to do something about it all, decades after it's already happened? Well, this Admiral Idaho is not the Admiral Idaho. This guy, and everyone else on your ship, including the only functioning robot left, is a clone. Anytime the currently deployed Idaho fails at his mission, another clone case is cracked open, and the naked man inside is immediately sent on a follow-up mission. Except this time, this naked man has all the memories of the previous naked men that have all horrifically failed at their mission, including what it's like to die. This is what initially hooked me on this game, as odd as it might be to say. Death and starting over from scratch, the thing that makes a roguelike, is baked into the game's narrative in a way that I don't think I've ever seen a game do before. Most roguelikes try to explain away why you're starting over. Crying Suns doesn't. It embraces it. Every death happened. Every failure happened. Every Idaho remembers every other Idaho. Suddenly, dying isn't breaking the story, it's progressing it. Permanent death is not just a gameplay element here, but an actual story element, and the game uses it in a very unique way. Most of the time in these videos, I refrain from talking about the overall story too much, as it's usually a side element. Honestly, the only other roguelike I reviewed, or the hell even played, with a story this detailed is Caves of Cut, but that's just a whole other beast. Go watch my video on that after this one if you want to know more. But for this game, the story is actually important and basically the reason to play. Each sector of space that you visit will uncover new information about your overall quest, and it does a good job of drip feeding you these story revelations to keep you interested. No spoilers, but you can expect a good mystery and a pretty decent payoff at the end of it all, even if there are multiple endings based on decisions you can make. Each faction has different reasons for existing and have different goals that don't involve you fixing things, so each chapter really does feel like a different part of the story, rather than everything getting mashed into one incomprehensible narrative. It serves to make each sector feel unique, though I do wish there was more variation in the random events. So yes, interspersed with all that story are random events and encounters that you'll be running into anytime an anomaly is detected in a system, which is scientific terminology for something's about to ruin your whole day. They come in a variety of different encounters, but this is nothing new with a roguelike, especially a space exploration one. What makes the ones in Crying Suns stand out is how they are presented and how they are resolved. Most of the time, if it's not an immediate battle, you're given the opportunity to stand in the Admiral's shoes and make decisions and give commands that you hope will lead to the best outcome. People might die and shit might go wrong, but it's your place to weigh the outcomes. You'll also be coming across instances to upgrade your ship and crew, sources of fuel, and planet-side missions your team can undertake. Scrap is used as the primary currency, because similar to FTL, this is an actual hell world where garbage is money. This can be used at shops to further support your runs. It's also how you'll be upgrading your ship, and believe me, with the combat in this game, you will need to do this. Ship-to-ship combat is pretty unique. While you won't be piloting your ship around a battlefield, your main combatant combatants are going to be the squadrons of fighter ships you have at your disposal. During combat, you'll deploy these squadrons onto the map and navigate them around to capture points, attack enemy squadrons, and ultimately attack the enemy ship. Squadron on squadron action, if you're into that sort of thing, operates on a sort of cosmic rock, paper, scissors. It's like Pokemon, if your Pikachu carried a ballistic missile launcher into every battle. Frigates beat fighters, fighters beat drones, drones beat frigates. So it's smart to have a wide array of squadrons at your disposal. If they're destroyed, that's not the end for them, and you can redeploy them at half health. You've also got your ship's weapon systems, and these can be used to attack both enemy squadrons and the enemy ship. There are 3 points of attack on each ship, and these represent the weapons, the squadron bay, and direct attacks on the ship's hull. Once either ship loses all its hull points, it's bye-bye for one of you. While you can't take any one system out of commission completely, consistent attacks can build up a system's heat, which overloads it to the point where it'll need to cool down before that system can be utilized in combat again. Battles can be quick and easy, or long and drawn out. For as tactical as the game can get, sometimes any and all strategy you throw against an enemy will get thrown right out the window. But more on that later, when I talk about the things I don't like. Honestly though, my favorite part of this game is how it looks. It's an interesting blend of both 3D elements with pixel-based sprite work. I don't think these count as voxels, but please call me a moron in the comments if they are. I can take it. Everything is really detailed, and the animation is smooth as butter. Every time you move to a different planet in a local star system, the viewing screen will quickly show your ship's flight to that other planet. Might seem minor, but it honestly does a lot to make the journey you're on feel that much grander. You're not blinking to a new location each time, but taking the time to traverse the star system you're in. There's a ton of visual variety, not only from the planets, but the characters on your crew and the various squadrons you'll be deploying in combat. A good depiction of something should tell you exactly what it's all about from the moment you see it, and they all do a really good job of conveying how they'll be fighting. Coincidentally, the place where I feel like the visual variety is lacking is in the giant battleships themselves. There are different models you'll be coming across and blowing up, but so long as you're fighting a specific faction, all of their ships are going to look largely the same. Even amongst that, most of the ships you'll fight and can unlock to play are really just giant hunks of metal with some ribbing on them. It's kind of unfortunate. While the music itself is honestly pretty forgettable, I really like most of the sound effects in the game. Whether it be moving from planet to planet or system to system, you get these whooshing sounds that do a good job of conveying that you're piloting a 1 million ton hunk of metal through the cosmos, which honestly might be why I have a hard time remembering the music tracks. The set pieces take center stage. Combat sounds are really effective as well, but I can't lie that there were multiple times I found myself wondering what the hell a particular sound meant, and for the life of me, I sometimes wasn't able to figure it out. So while it's nice, it can often become just noise. It's the subtle moments that really stick out when the sound is adding the cherry on top for great immersion. Now, for as much as I've praised the game for making dying a concrete part of the story, I can't say that it's always implemented in the best way possible. For as many times as multiple clones are going through the exact same sectors of space, there's really very little about the world that changes. Though you and everyone else on the ship very much remember each attempt they've made, it doesn't seem like the forces or people you come into contact with have literally any recollection that the same ship and same admiral have come through and gotten themselves blown up at least a dozen times before. It creates this odd dissonance where the characters in the story itself acknowledges that you've died, but the world seemingly doesn't. It can be really off-putting. Every now and then a boss or major character that you come across multiple times may reference this, but it's largely not mentioned as you travel multiple times through the same sector of space. Sometimes combat can feel really unbalanced as well, and not in an "oh, that's just a roguelike for you" kind of way. Combat is very tactical, and strategy is something that you will need to think about whenever going into most encounters, except for when enemy fighters have very unfun modifiers that make combat nothing but frustrating. For instance, some drone units will blow up and take out nearby combatants with them. All well and good, except for the fact that most ships need to be nearby each other to do combat. So any squadron you throw against a drone unit with this modifier is almost guaranteed to eat shit along with them. This compounds when the enemy throws these out as often as they possibly can, and after they've been destroyed the first time, they come out with even less health. By the end of one random ass battle in the middle of nowhere, you have a completely wrecked fleet because of one unit designed to be weak. If you can't tell, I was channeling some rage when I was writing this part. All in all, Crying Suns is a flawed game that tells a rather interesting story in a format most games of the genre don't bother with. And on top of it all, I really do like the story. It's got a good driving mystery behind it, and it feeds you new information at a rate that makes you intrigued enough to see it through to the end. While I don't think that this will gain the lasting legacy that FTL has, it's still really good. It's still really great to see the formula evolve into something with as much entertainment value as Crying Suns. FTL proved you don't need a massive galaxy to create unforgettable stories, but Crying Suns poses the question, what if you took that same formula and built an empire around it? If that interests you at all, why don't you give it a try? Thanks for watching. As stated earlier, this is the second part of a series I'm doing on space exploration roguelikes, so be sure to check out the playlist on screen now. If you made it this far, remember to leave a like and hit that subscribe button, as it all helps more than you know. All that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!